This is the Collector Car Podcast, the home for the auto enthusiast. Join Greg Stanley as he applies over 25 years of insights and analytical experience to the collector car market. He will interview the experts and throw in some fun stuff as well.
Hey, it's Greg Stanley. If you're listening to this podcast, you know I love everything automotive. This passion has expanded to include being a car specialist consultant for RM Sotheby's. So if you need assistance buying or consigning a collector car at any one of our online or live auctions, including Scottsdale, Amelia Island, or Monterey, you can reach one of our car specialists at rmsotheby's.com, or you can email me directly at gstanley@rmsotheby's.com. Metron Garage is a company designing unique garages, condos, and other structures specifically for the auto enthusiast. They've got 8 models to choose from, including 2-story options, which I think is super cool, all with a very modern look and feel to them. And they come in all sizes, and they're fully customizable. You can check out them today and start speccing your own ultimate garage at metrongarage.com, where you can request a catalog or talk to someone to learn more. So be sure to check it out. I just want to give a quick thanks to Euro Classics for sponsoring this episode. Euro Classics is all about collector cars, from servicing your new BMW M5 to prepping your Porsche for the racetrack to executing a total restoration on your favorite classic. They do it all from routine maintenance to performance upgrades to appraisals and everything in between. You can learn more about its owner, Dale Oaks, by listening to episode number 65 of this podcast. And you can find Euro Classics in the Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana service area and online at euroclassics.com. Classics, CLASSIX.com. Okay, to start this episode of the Collector Car Podcast, I do have a couple quick updates. Actually, quite a few updates. So first off, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so at the Collector Car Podcast. And there's a lot of fun stuff there. I do behind the scenes for RM Sotheby's. I take a car from or start to sold at an auction, so you can see the entire process of consigning a car. I do have a sneak peek. I do a walk around of an AC Cobra, a real wrecked AC Cobra. I won't tell you where it is or anything like that, but I do a walk around. It's pretty cool. The car was bought wrecked in 1974. I just saw the paperwork recently, and they paid $11,000 for it back in 1974. Again, wrecked, but really cool. It was used for drag racing. A couple other things coming up on the YouTube channel. I toured the Vector, the M12 Generation 2 Vector factory in Green Cove Springs, Florida, back in the early 90s. And I will post a video, photographs in a video format for that soon, as well as the Panos factory. That was out of Brazelton, Georgia. When I lived in Atlanta for 14 years, I toured with the local Mustang Club, so I have some cool pictures from the early 1990s of the Panos facility as well. So cool stuff there. There's hopefully a new video every Monday and Wednesday, and then again, obviously the podcast every Thursday. Now, also for the podcast, I will start featuring some automotive artists. Dave Snyder was on a week ago or so, and he is the sponsor of this little snippet. And then I will also feature some museums, so stay tuned for a little bit more information around Packards for this episode. It will be coming up here shortly. As always, if you're looking to consign your car, Monterey is going to be massive. I think it will be a record-breaking Monterey sale. Only a limited number of spots are left available for that auction. You can contact me directly at gstanley@rmsotheby's.com. And lastly, if you would like to be a sponsor for this podcast, please shoot me a note. I'm always looking for fun sponsors that are active in the automotive world. And again, you would be on this podcast as you're hearing it right now. So now off to the episode. All right, well, welcome back to the Collector Car Podcast. Hey, it's Greg Stanley, and I have a fun and different guest for you today, Mike Zarnock. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Greg. How you doing today?
Good, good. And I say fun and different because this is going to be a lot of fun, and different because you do not deal with your quote-unquote typical collector cars, at least not the ones I talk about every day. If you would, kind of tell us, what kind of collector cars do you deal in?
Well, I have the world's largest Hot Wheels collection. So, some people that have interviewed me have said this guy has over 30,000 cars in his collection. And people go, really, really? And when they find out it's Hot Wheels, well, that's a little bit different. But actually, I do have a bunch of real cars, too. But we're here to talk about Hot Wheels. So let's go there.
Yeah, let's get 2 answers right off the bat based on what you just said here. What cool cars, full-size cars, do you have that you would like to talk about? And then how many cars, die-cast cars, small cars, Matchbox cars, Hot Wheel cars do you have in your collection?
My real cars, my real passions, is S10s, Chevy S10s and
Oh,
S15s.
nice. Okay.
I have a Pro Street S10 right now, 355, automatic, big tire truck, roll cage, the whole deal. Between my oldest son and I, we have like 11 or 12 S10s, whether they're, dropped or bagged or, you name it. We have them in all different styles. So we like to do that. My wife has a Fiat Spider, and that's all we have in our collection now, though we've had many other things like Corvettes and things like that. But so all we got now is the Fiat and the S10s.
I must say that you're the first S10 collector I've had on the podcast, and I would have to say that's a future collectible for sure because those are going up in price right now if you can find a nice clean one. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so tell us about your cars, your small cars.
I have held 2 Guinness World Records for the size of my Hot Wheels collection, once in 2003 and the other in 2007. The other people that have, beaten my record, they've done it with other toys, other die-cast than Hot Wheels. There's a guy out there now that has a huge collection, diorama and stuff. His is Corgi Dinky, stuff like that. But all of my stuff is, every one of my records has been with Hot Wheels in the record. So I've got track sets, play sets, all kinds of automobilia of Hot Wheels. Anything that you could put the Hot Wheel logo on. Socks, underwear, sunglasses, toothbrushes, you name it. And I pretty much have it.
Where does this passion come from? Now, you could shock me and tell me, hey, I've only been doing it for 2 years now, which I know that's not the case. But did it happen when you were a little kid, or did it happen later when you were an adult trying to recapture your youth? Walk us through how this collection started.
It happened in 1968. I was riding my Stingray bicycle with the extended forks that I had bolted together down to the W.T. Grant store, and I was looking for Tom Daniel models. I was a huge model builder, and Tom Daniel was my favorite automotive designer. And I walked into W.T. Grant's looking for, like I said, Tom Daniel models, and I look up, and there is Hot Wheel display, and it's like, oh my, because of course I had slot cars and things like that, and of course we would modify them and make them look like the cars on the street. And there was, like I said, Hot Wheels, and they were already custom paint. They had superchargers, they had mag wheels, they had slicks, they had redline tires. I didn't have to do anything to them. And I totally forgot about buying the Tom Daniel model and went, raced home and had to get $1 from my mother to go back down there and buy a new Hot Wheel car. And from that day on, it was Hot Wheels for me. Everybody in my family knew what to get me for any occasion, whether it was my birthday or Christmas or anything. Hot Wheels was it. I lived for Hot Wheels.
So what's really cool is you got in literally the first day, the first week, the first month, the first year, whatever, of Hot Wheels' existence, right? Because they started in 1968, didn't they?
Yeah. It was right around the time. I want to say probably April when I could bring my bike out, and Hot Wheels was released just before that. So I think as soon as they were released to W.T. Grant, I was there.
Yeah,
and,
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That started the whole craziness.
That's really, really cool. So do you remember, do you still have that first car?
The first car was either the Picnic Bandit or the Silhouette. Huge Ed Roth fan, the Rat Fink and all that, even at 10 years old. And, Cushionberry, his stuff. Living in central New York where you have snow 9 or 10 months out of the year, you only get to see cool cars in magazines. So, seeing those cars in magazines and then seeing one in the store that I could have in my hand, it was crazy. And that was Elliot Handler's idea, to make the California custom cars available for kids all around the world. And it worked. So it was either the Silhouette or the Bandit. I really, really don't remember, but those were the two first Hot Wheels that I bought. And I do not have them because my dad gave my cousins my Hot Wheels when my parents split up.
Oh,
So
my
there were
goodness.
actually, there were actually two cases, and the case that he gave my cousins was the first, the Sweet 16 and everything like that. And the smaller case was one that I found that he didn't. But yeah, I do have some of my original cars, probably 40 of those.
Wow.
But yeah, the
Okay.
first ones were gone.
All right. Well, that is really cool. It's great that something that occurred when you were such a small kid, had such a big impact on you and takes you to today. And also, I've seen, as I Googled you, I've seen that you've been in Ripley's Believe It or Not. You've been in a lot of different, I'm assuming the Guinness Book of World Records. You've been in a lot
Yes.
of places, right?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I was in two Guinness books. Well, actually three now because I set a track record for loops at the Chicago Auto Show back in 2020, right before COVID hit. And yeah, I was in two different Ripley's Believe It or Not books. And yeah, you're just for being obsessed, with Hot Wheels. Been on many TV shows. I did the Hot Wheels 50th anniversary for History Channel, and I also did the Toys That Made America. I'm sorry, the Toys That Built America.
Oh, that's one of my favorite shows, actually, and I haven't seen yours
Yeah,
yet, so I'll keep an eye out for you.
it's episode 3, the Toy Car Wars.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be really fascinating. And once I find it, I'll put a link in this description so folks can tune into it as well. Now, I have to ask you a couple of trends that are going on out there. First off, can you talk about the overall, it could be just Hot Wheels, it could be Hot Wheels Matchbox cars, it could be the, everything in general. What's the collectability market doing right now? Are they going up? I know on the full-size cars, things are pretty hot right now. I would assume that would translate into the smaller cars as well.
Well, for some reason, Hot Wheels Red Lines, the early stuff, have gone crazy. They've doubled, tripled, quadrupled in price, and I don't know if it was because people were getting money to stay home. They were getting $600 a week extra just to stay home, and they had nothing to do with this money except buy toys. But once that happened, when COVID hit, things went absolutely crazy. And a lot of things have just gotten way, way out of reach. And the used car market out there right now, you can't find a vehicle to buy. And if you do, it's crazy money. So, Hot Wheels Red Lines have gone, out of reach. The Black Walls, that's pretty much what I collect, only because I could probably get 10 Black Walls for the price of one Red Line. I don't collect for money. To me, they're all dollar cars. I just, if I want something, I need it for my collection, not that I'm going to resell it. So all of these cars that I have, these 30,000 different cars, they're all different. They're not, that doesn't include my doubles and triples and all that. And those are 30,000 different cars in one way or another.
Wow.
Yeah, I prices have gone crazy. People always talk about prices. To me, it's my passion, it's my love, it's what I collect, what I like to do. And as you said earlier, it's people my age are just trying to buy back their childhood. It brings me back to a time when all I had to do was mow the lawn and shovel the driveway and make my bed. I'd get $1 for my allowance,
Right.
and go down and buy another Hot Wheel.
Yeah.
So it brings me back to the time when that's all I had to do. It's not that I was like today when I'm a dad, a grandfather, and a business owner, and all of that. So a lot of people are trying to buy back their childhood, and that's what it's all about: being happy with the toys that you had as a kid.
Yeah, that is so true. Well, just to give my listeners a little bit of a perspective, now what would the two cars you thought might have been your first purchase, let's say they're mint condition in box, what would those be worth today? And then what are the top 3 Hot Wheels worth today, and which ones are they?
The two, the colors are a huge, a huge difference in price with Hot Wheels. So if it was a pink Beatnik Bandit in the package, it'd be a few $1,000s. The Silhouette it's a pretty common car. So if it was in a package, a couple $100. And as far as the most expensive cars out there, Bruce Pascal's rear-loading pink Beach Bomb, which he has valued at $150,000. There are a few cars that are really rare that command, many thousands of dollars. Actually, they're in Bruce Pascal's collection. Things like the Python, which was actually named the Cheetah at first, and there were a handful of those that escaped the factory with the Cheetah name on the base. Now that's probably $15,000, $20,000. All of the ones that you find today say Python on the base.
Okay.
The Mad Maverick, which is now, was after finding out that Johnny Lightning held the name to Mad Maverick. It was changed to the Mighty Maverick, and there's only like 6 of those around. So things like that. If you're into the rarity and can spend $20,000-$30,000 for a Hot Wheel car, that's what's out there. There are many cars that are in the $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 range.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the way it is. Many different collectors in the rarity that the manufacturers make some items. Do you still buy new stuff, and then do you find yourself, do you go to the stores, when their shipment occurs, like on Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you buy it by the case, hoping that you get the one rare one that's in a case? What's the strategy for collectors today and getting the rare stuff?
Collectors today collect many different things. A lot of people collect treasure hunts. They collect super treasure hunts. They collect variations. And I am a variation collector. That's what all of my books are about. I've written 13 books on variations.
Wow.
And also did the Bruce Pascal book with Bruce for his prototype collection. So I've done 14 books. But the thing with Hot Wheels collectors are that they collect different things. So myself, I would rather have a rare variation than a super treasure hunt. Now, some people will spend, a couple $100 or, whatever for a super treasure hunt where there are thousands, maybe 1 million of them made. Nobody really knows how many are made. Where a variation, there could be 50. So to me, that 50 is much rarer than, a couple 100,000 or 1 million. As far as value, again, I don't collect for value. I collect because I have it and you don't. So, na.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but yeah, variation collectors are a strange breed because we will search 100 of the same cars just to see if there's anything different about them. And there are people who collect the black walls, and there are people who collect the red lines, and people who just collect Corvettes or Mustangs or 442s. So there's many different styles. Yes, I get Hot Wheels every month when they come out. Right now, there's nothing coming out because they're all sitting in the middle of the ocean. But I do get a case of Hot Wheels from one of the distributors, which is A&J Toys. They send them to me. I do get products from Mattel for Hot Wheels TV, and that's where I review all of the stuff that I get.
No, that's a pretty good perk. Get it straight from Hot Wheels, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm. Actually, Hot Wheels considers me an ambassador for the brand. I go all over the country and represent Hot Wheels. I've been on some committees for and with Hot Wheels. So as far as Hot Wheels goes, they do know who I am. They ask me questions. They work. I work closely with them, all year long. I have the master set sitting over here in the corner that I haven't had a chance to review yet that I just got in the mail. But yeah, they send me stuff all the time. And, I go to the conventions, I send autographs, I do seminars, things like that. So getting new stuff, yes, I have to get the new stuff because I'm a Hot Wheel collector. I'm obsessed with Hot Wheels. I'll see anything in a store that has a Hot Wheel logo on it, and I have to have it.
Right.
To this day.
Yeah.
So
what advice would you have for someone who wants to get into collecting and wants to find, that variation or whatever it might be?
Well, first thing, if you're going to collect Hot Wheels, do not collect them for money. Don't think that you're going to start collecting Hot Wheels and, 10 years down the road, you're going to sell them and make $1 million. It's a hobby. Collect it because you enjoy it. Collect it because it makes you happy. It's all in the search. There are some things out there, no matter how much money you have, you can't find it. So it's in the hunt. It's in the search. It's all about completing something that you want to complete, and it makes you happy. I get emails and all kinds of stuff. What can I buy that's going to be worth a lot of money down the road? If I knew that, I'd be a super rich guy today. But
Right.
it's a hobby, and I continually say, to me, they're all dollar cars. So enjoy it. Do what you can to have fun with it. But don't think you'll make $1 million. People did that like 20 years ago, or even more. During the 90s, when the treasure hunts came out, 95, people started buying up Hot Wheels like crazy. They're, I'm going to put them away. I'm going to bring them out in 20 years and make $1 million. And a lot of people did that. And those cars from 1996 to 2000s, you can get them for $5 for $1 because everybody's just dumping them. And that's, people made that mistake. So you lost money. You didn't make money, you lost money. So yeah, it's a hobby. Have fun with it. Collect what you like. If it made you happy as a kid, it's going to make you happy today. And something you can share with your kids and your grandkids. There's a lot of people out there that still play with track sets, and my granddaughter and I play all the time. I'm sure you've seen it on my social media. There's a track sitting right here. The 4 or 5 lane kind of Mario Brothers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we're always playing, and that's it makes you happy. So if you're going to do it, do something that's going to make you happy, whether it's Hot Wheels or Matchbox or Johnny Lightning, anything, as long as it makes you happy.
Yeah, that's great advice, and that's what I often say for the collector cars. The full-size one is buy what makes you happy, and I don't want people to think of it as investing if stuff's going up in value. I want to see as get it while you can, because things are going up in price. You want to be able to afford it, and at some point, unfortunately, stuff gets to be a little bit too expensive for the average consumer, unfortunately,
Right.
so you got to enjoy it, and you know what, if it goes down, as long as you like it, who cares, because you got it because you like it. So the other thing I want to ask you was kind of not a trend, but I know that there's been quite a few Hot Wheels, quote unquote, classic, iconic Hot Wheels made into real full-size, you can drive it editions. What are your thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. I think it's great.
Yeah.
There's probably 30 or 40 different real cars that were done as the Hot Wheel car. There's the twin mill that's out there. There's the one that Mattel has, and there's one that a guy in Connecticut has. There are the Diora 2. There's the real Diora. There's the Beatnik Bandit. There's the Silhouette. All of those cars. In the beginning, those cars were real before the Hot Wheels were made, and now there are Hot Wheels being made of real cars, like my old race car. They did the Drag Strip Demon series. They did my Altered as my Xarnox Altered Roadster in a Hot Wheel car. So that huge honor to me. But yeah, to have a real car that's a Hot Wheel car, that's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, before we end here, I wanted to ask you, what is the best way for our listeners to learn about you and all your cool Hot Wheels stuff?
You can just Google my name, Mike Zarnock, or you can go to MikeZarnock.com. You can go to Hot Wheels TV on YouTube. And, of course, I have social media everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Just type in Mike Zarnock, and there's just millions of things. Sometimes I have to go on the website to see what I'm doing. So, but, yeah, just Google my name, Mike Zarnock, Zarnock, and I'm out there. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'll put links to all of your social media on the description here. So that will not be a problem. Now, one thing we do at the end of these, and yours is going to be a lot of fun, and I did not tell you about this, is I play a little game called Keep, Cash, and Crush. Now, normally we keep Cash and Crush full-size cars and we have fun with it. Well, this will be the first time I'm asking you to keep Cash and Crush 3 different Hot Wheel cars. So are you ready for this?
Sure, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Now, crushing these cars, I don't know, maybe throw it down a garbage disposal. I don't know.
Well, we used to hit them with hammers and put them in vices, so, or blow them up with M80s.
There you go,
whatever
yeah.
would fit in there. So.
Yeah, you know what? For me, it was M60s. They keep getting smaller every year. Okay, so the first one, and I had one of these. I don't think I had one with white interior, though. I'll have to go downstairs and check it out. It's the 1970 Red Baron with white interior. Now, I must admit, I'm pulling this from a Most Expensive Hot Wheels article. If it's wrong, just let me know, and we'll correct it.
That is an article that they took my information from, so that is a keeper. That is a prototype. There were only a handful of those made. And, yeah, with the white interior, it is an extremely hard and valuable car.
And what would be
done by Tom Daniel.
Ballpark on this? This article says about $7,500 in 2018.
Yeah, it's probably up around $12,000-$15,000.
Now, I didn't tell you this. I give you 3 cars. You have to pick one to keep forever, one to cash in, and one to crush. So okay. I'm going to give you 3 cars. Now, who knows? Maybe it'll be a rarer one. I'll make you think here for a second. All right. So the next one is the 1969 Brown 31 Woody. And let me give you the third one, and then you can figure out how you want to do it. And then the third one, they're all going to be tough. Let's see. The third one, let's say it is the 1971 Spectra Flame Purple Bifocal. So those are your 3. I would love to repeat them, but I'd have to scroll through a bunch of stuff. So those are the 3. Which one would you keep forever? Which one would you cash in? And then, unfortunately, which one would you send down the garbage disposal?
I'm going to keep the Red Baron.
Okay.
For many, many reasons. The bifocal, we would have to crush. And the Brown Woody, we would cash in.
Okay, well, give me your thoughts around that. I get the Baron, the Red Baron. Obviously, that's iconic with the helmet. That's a iconic one.
Well, the Red Baron, it was done by Tom Daniel, who has, like I said, originally I was looking for his models, and in the meantime, he has become a very dear friend of mine.
Okay.
So I would have to have that, and that is the most noted and best-selling wheeled vehicle ever, whether it was a model or model kit or Hot Wheel. The bifocal, I think, is not as rare as the Brown Woody. So I would take the Woody, sell the Woody, and we would have to crush the bifocal.
All right, so the bifocal is going into the garbage disposal, correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, gonna have to. That if I only have those choices, that's what we're gonna have to do.
Or it's going to be hit with a hammer or blown up by an M80.
Yeah, it'll probably go into vice. That's probably where it'll go. Get all flattened out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, thank you for being on the Collector Car Podcast. If you would, tell our listeners one more time the best place to find you.
Best place is just Google Mike Zarnock, MikeZarnock.com, or Hot Wheels TV on YouTube.
Awesome.
And I really appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the Collector Car Podcast. Don't forget to give us a nice rating on iTunes and be sure to follow us on Instagram and everywhere else at the Collector Car Podcast.